Harmony Aligned by Bridget B. Espinosa. The path to authenticity when your life is off balance. Dedication. I want to dedicate this book to my two sons, Teodoro and Diego. I hope that they will gift this to their future partners and that this next generation will understand the principles behind Harmony Aligned long before they reach age 50. Introduction. Spoiler alert. The working title of this book was Fuck Work-Life Balance. It doesn't exist. So instead, seek harmony. But my mom would definitely not approve. I decided to simplify and make the title PG in order to appeal to the masses. But please know that some of the content of this book will not be for the faint of heart. I will share some complex issues from my life, my work, and my marriage. I've been trying to write this book for over 2 years. But in the process of walking my talk, I inadvertently disrupted my entire life. Seeking harmony meant standing unapologetically in my own truth. And some things were revealed to me that changed my entire world. Harmony was my company word of the year, and I wrote a blog by the same name in 2023. My team and I worked on the revision of our mission statements and began developing an updated vision statement and value statements. I had no idea what I was in for. I began to spend most of the winter in a small town near Cancun in 2021. By all intents and purposes, I was living my best life, the life I had manifested over 2 decades prior. But as I was digging in and doing the work, I discovered some things that turned my life upside down. At the time of this writing, my husband and I had been separated for almost 2 years. I spent all of 2024 in absolute chaos and suffered extreme physical symptoms from an autoimmune condition that culminated in spending New Year's Eve 2024 and New Year's Day 2025 in the hospital for an appendectomy. Writing this book has been cathartic to say the least. The first draft was an unabridged version of the last 3 years. This book is not for everyone. But if you are exhausted from feeling like you are always failing at finding this elusive work-life balance, I need to warn you. Seeking harmony to live authentically can come at a cost. I've lost a marriage, a business partner, and friends. You cannot unring a bell and you cannot unsee that which has come to the surface. However, I can tell you that when you finally begin to align your values and your actions, you can find internal peace and incredible satisfaction. Trust the process. The first draft was named The Harmony Principle, but in the time it took me to write this, another book was written with that title. The word aligned had been following me, just as the word harmony began to follow me in 22 and 23 and authenticity in 24. So here we are. Let me introduce you to the concept of harmony aligned. How to use this book. This book will help you reflect on who you are and where you are going. It will hopefully teach you to see yourself with grace and improve your life as you learn to live authentically and unapologetically. Recommendations. The Harmony Aligned book can be used as a self-guided outline for personal growth with practical, real, and dramatic changes about how you view yourself and your future. There are spaces to write in the book, so feel free to write in the margins of this book, but I would recommend answering the reflection questions by journaling online, in a brand new paper journal, or create video content for your social media, if you're brave. Harmony Aligned would make a great book club tool, or to read with an accountability partner. Just choose wisely. We're going to touch on subjects that may trigger those who are not willing to look at themselves in the mirror. Many people are resistant to the vulnerability needed to be their most authentic selves. Additional resources will be shared at the end of the book with QR codes and URL links on puentesi.com. There is a keynote called Seek Harmony. Work-life balance does not exist on our Puente Cultural Integration YouTube channel. Plus, there's a practical step-by-step video module course with a companion workbook and bilingual journal in both English and Spanish called Paint Your Life. Define your mission and vision to live authentically, available for free on lezosglobal.com. The reason it took me 3 years to write this book is because I had a really hard time with part 2 and part 3. I'm now unapologetically living by the principles of harmony aligned, and although my life is far from perfect, it is filled with beautiful music and zero guilt. I am where I am supposed to be. I am going where I need to go, and I make all of my decisions aligned with my mission, vision, and values. The path to authenticity, when quite literally everything in your life is feeling out of balance, is a complex journey. But I promise it's worth it. You could be living the life you never even allowed yourself to dream of once you decide to follow the path that leads to harmony aligned. Chapter 1: Seeking Harmony. Do you feel like you have the perfect work-life balance? Do you show up as your whole authentic self, feeling completely fulfilled at home and at work in everything you do? Or do you constantly feel like you're falling short in every aspect of your life? When you're at work, are you worried about your partner, the kids, the house, dinner, your parents, etc.? Do you feel guilty when you need to leave work early and guilty when you miss out on a family or school event because you have to work? Raise your hand if you have it figured out. If so, you may not need this book. I spent the majority of my last 25 years knowing that I had nothing resembling a work-life balance. After beating myself up and making myself miserable, my conclusion is that the whole concept of work-life balance is ridiculous. So I think I finally figured out the solution. Fuck it. Work-life balance is a myth. We've been chasing something that doesn't exist. It is a concept that society sold us that makes us feel like a failure both at our jobs and at home. Instead of striving for balance, an impossible feat, let's seek harmony. Harmony Aligned will help you with guiding tools to live authentically in alignment with your true self. My hope is that we start a movement where we give ourselves and others grace for being fully themselves, with all our imperfections and flaws. And even more importantly, that we can celebrate all the amazing things that we are able to accomplish in all of the roles that we play, so that we truly feel the beautiful, rich, authentic harmony that comes from being truly in tune with all that we are. I don't know about you, but I've often felt like I was standing on a teeter-totter or a seesaw. On one side, my family responsibilities. On the other, my work obligations. No matter how hard I tried, I was always tipping back and forth, never truly finding balance. Have you ever stood or sat on a teeter-totter? It's up, down, never steady, never still. Balance is an illusion. Either you're going up or going down, or maybe even side to side. Life does not stand still. It didn't matter how many years that I had worked as a high school teacher. It didn't matter how long I had been married or whether or not my husband was traveling. It didn't matter how old my children were. It didn't matter when I retired from teaching at age 42 and started a nonprofit organization and a consulting firm where I could set my own hours and even work from home. I have never felt balanced. Can you relate? Every school day for over 20 years, I rushed out of school with a to-do list on my desk of copies to be made and lesson plans to be created. Every day, I carried a heavy work bag back and forth from school and home, filled with essays, quizzes, and tests that needed to be graded. Most days, I never opened it, but there it sat by the door, reminding me that I could never get it all done. When I was at work, my looming to-do list for my family was always present. How many of these questions can you relate to? Feel free to edit for yourself, as every list is unique despite the similarities. What time did I need to pick up the kids? Did they have extracurricular activities or big projects that were due this week? What was I making for dinner that night? Did I have enough ingredients for dinner, and had we run out of our favorite lunch and breakfast items? Would I have time to swing by the grocery store, or was it another Little Caesars hot and ready night with a side salad so at least they got their vegetables? Who had soccer practice, and who else did I need to pick up or drop off? When could I squeeze in a family dinner with my parents and siblings? When would I have time to visit my aging grandparents? Plus, the everyday to-do list. The never-ending stress of making sure bills were paid on time. That the house was cleaned. Usually not by me. Ensuring that my family was fed, bathed, and had clean laundry. That homework was done. and while making sure I was 100% available to my 100 plus students, their parents, and my colleagues. Please keep in mind, my husband and I were committed to date nights and frequent sex. Plus, we loved hosting parties, having family and friends over for barbecues and birthday parties. Oh, and did I mention that for most of our 26-year marriage, my husband traveled 40 to 60% of the time? Work-life balance was impossible, and I always felt like I was failing. There were never enough hours in the day, literally. I was severely sleep deprived for about 15 years. It negatively affected my health, my weight, and my attitude. I was miserable. Most people who know me now would never believe that when I was in my late 30s and early 40s, some of my colleagues and students thought I was a total bitch. I wore it like a badge of honor. I now believe it was a combination of sleep deprivation, perimenopausal hormone imbalance, and my intuition that there was something deeply wrong with my marriage that I would not admit to anyone. Side note, did you know that studies have shown that women need 8 to 10 hours of sleep to regulate their hormones properly? We'll get more into the importance of sleep in the chapter on prioritizing yourself. Once I left teaching, sleep has been my number one priority, and it has truly changed my life. I will be diving into this in a later chapter, but I wanted to highlight the profound impact that sleep can have on your health and overall well-being in the introduction. When we talk about work-life balance, it also does not take into account all of the different hats we wear in life. Personally, I wear far more than I probably should. Take a minute to jot down some of the roles you play and all the hats you wear, here or in a separate notebook. Here are some of the many hats my clients and I brainstormed when I introduced this topic as a TED Talk-style keynote at our gratitude dinner in 2024. Babysitter, chauffeur, nurse, mediator, cleaner, chef, therapist. And of course, we are also partners, professionals, business owners, bosses. We are daughters, siblings, relatives. The roles keep piling on, and as we age, we rarely remove them. Instead, the weight of responsibility just keeps growing as we become caregivers, volunteers, and leaders. So how do we manage all of these hats that we wear? It certainly isn't balance. All the hats would literally topple over. Something profound that we noted, not one of us, when listing all the hats we wear, said, "I am me." It's time to change that. Why do we not even consider being our authentic self as a primary role? The music of life. The principles of harmony aligned came to me through my love and study of music. I've been singing and dancing since I was little. Later, as a high school and college student, I was active in choir and musical theater, studying vocal music and music theory. Music has always been a big part of who I am, shaping the way I think, the way I process, and the way I see the world. Literally, one of my absolute favorite things to do is listen to live music and musical theater, whatever the genre. I love the imperfect and unexpected way that different musicians and singers perform a cover, and I am always excited to hear their original compositions. One of the main reasons I decided to live in Puerto Morelos, a small beachside fisherman's village just 25 minutes from touristy Cancun, is because I can listen to live music literally every single night. On the weekends, I can potentially catch anywhere from 3 to 6 different bands of different genres on and off the beach. This concept of harmony aligned was born while traveling in Mexico. It took a while, but I finally gave myself permission to live my life unapologetically, in tune with my authentic self. When I contemplate life, I see it through the lens of music with harmonies that are complex and beautiful. We all deserve to live life out loud. Some days, weeks, months, years, we can live life as a simple 2 or 3-part harmony, maybe with a partner, a child, or a career. Other times, life is a complex symphony with layers upon layers of melodies, voices, and instruments blending together. I sang a little jazz in high school and college, and jazz harmonies are even crazier. Their beauty comes from the unexpected, from the dissonance resolving into something rich and full. But what happens when one instrument is out of tune? When one voice hits the wrong note? When someone in the audience claps off beat? We feel it. We hear it. Something's off. There's discord. It makes everyone uncomfortable. That's when we know we need to make a shift. Stop. Reset. Start over if necessary and find the alignment that was missing. How can we ever find this elusive balance if we are not even including ourselves in the ensemble? So sometimes the choir needs to pause or the orchestra needs to rest. And you get to sing the melody. A single melodic note is beautiful, but a well-blended chord creates depth, and life isn't meant to be lived in monotone. Our experiences, roles, relationships, and responsibilities can layer together to form a rich and textured existence. At the same time, we cannot allow the voices of others to drown out who we are. Should we not take the first chair or the lead singer role in our own life? We must include our own voice in the ensemble along with the people and various roles. Do not apologize for all the roles you play, and do not feel like you are failing in any of the titles you hold. By simply changing your perspective and honoring each aspect of your life, it can raise your vibration of authenticity. Share your vibrancy with those around you and allow yourself to enjoy the complex harmonies that only you can compose. We have heard the first part of this quote often as a way to criticize someone who does too much. A jack of all trades is a master of none. The full quote tells a very different story. A jack of all trades is a master of none, but oftentimes better than a master of one. What if we were able to unapologetically celebrate all that we are? This quote is often attributed to William Shakespeare, but its origin is debated. I have been following neurospicy content creator Elise Myers since the pandemic, and she has stood up and said, "If I'm too much, go find less." I love everything about her stance. You cannot be all things to everyone, but you can be everything you need and want for yourself. Aligned harmony is the answer. I've created a simple formula so you can apply the principles of harmony aligned in your life. It's not about achieving balance. It's about making sure our voices blend, that our melodies complement rather than compete. It's about living in a way that feels true and authentic rather than forcing ourselves into an impossible standard. The harmony aligned formula. 1. Live in gratitude. 2. Live your authentic life. 3. Prioritize yourself unapologetically. I'm going to break down the principles behind this 3-part formula in detail and give you practical tools to apply them, which will begin with how to create a consistent daily practice of gratitude. In order to be aligned with your authentic self, I will provide tools to identify your core values, writing your personal mission and vision statements. I have never been good at prioritizing myself, and so those chapters were the most difficult for me to detail. But I'm going to lay out a plan with a clear process and examples of how others who live in harmony make choices each day to live authentically. It will be emotional and it will be practical. It will not talk about self-care as we know it, but it will discuss the value of sleep, moving, and nourishing your body, listening to your intuition, and it will emphasize the need to draw boundaries and to not sacrifice yourself for those around you. The crescendo effect. Growth and success don't happen all at once. Like a crescendo in music, progress builds gradually over time. Once we get on the path to applying harmony aligned, we can make beautiful music, but give yourself grace. It'll take practice. Just like learning to play an instrument or rehearsing an a cappella piece with 4-part harmony so that you can perform it live. We are getting off the teeter-totter. We will no longer accept the bullshit idea that we need to find this elusive work-life balance. We will embrace everything that we are. We will give ourselves grace. We will be grateful. We will be authentic. We will prioritize ourselves unapologetically and occasionally take the mic as the lead singer in our own lives. We will let go of the guilt because we know that we are doing our best. We will find harmony each day. Part 1. Gratitude. Chapter 2. The opening note. Live in gratitude. Gratitude has been a foundational practice in my life. About 15 years ago, I had one of the hardest years of my life. I had found out my husband was having an affair. He was repentant, and I decided to stay in the marriage. I told very few people. My husband went into therapy, but I chose to manage my feelings alone. As you can imagine, most mornings I woke up feeling sad, frustrated, overwhelmed. I didn't want to carry that energy into my day, into my relationships, into my work. I needed to feel better. I did not want to risk my kids, my family, my friends, or my colleagues knowing what I was going through. I knew I needed to shift something. I remembered when my aunt was battling breast cancer. She told me that her anchor was a daily gratitude journal. Every night, she wrote down 1 to 3 things that she was grateful for. That practice kept her grounded, so I decided to try it for myself. This was right around when Facebook had just launched, and I knew myself well enough to recognize that if I didn't do it publicly, I wouldn't stick with it. So I started posting what I was grateful for every single day. What I found had a profound effect on my life each day. When I committed to posting something at the end of the day, I spent my whole day looking for things to be grateful for. Instead of focusing on what was hard, what was stressful, what was overwhelming, I started collecting small moments of joy. By the end of the day, my challenge wasn't finding something to be grateful for. It was choosing which moment to share. For years, I would go back to that public practice of posting my daily gratitude during the month of November. The practice that changed my life. It rewired the way I think. And now, 16 years later, gratitude isn't something I do just in November. It is truly my authentic self. It is how I move through the world, always with one eye towards seeing the good in the world, and in others, counting my blessings and feeling grateful for the smallest details of life. A warm cup of coffee, sunshine on my face, a kind gesture from a stranger, a moment of laughter from a TV show, and the never-ending support from my parents. An added bonus with social media is that these declarations of gratitude pop up in my Facebook memories every year, and I get to read about the simple joys, especially when I was a young mother, an exhausted teacher. These social journal entries continue to remind me of the power of gratitude. Gratitude for me is more than just a practice, it is a core value. One of the unexpected lessons of intentional gratitude is that it sharpens your awareness of beauty and blessings, but also when your values are not aligned. When gratitude is a daily habit, it becomes more evident when others take your generosity for granted or show entitlement instead of appreciation. I spent most of my life pouring into my husband, my children, my friends, my community, and my work. I never did it for applause, but over time I realized how draining it can be to give endlessly without acknowledgement or reciprocity. The nagging feeling that life is out of balance becomes increasingly apparent as you begin to see the world through a different lens. I find myself yearning for the gratitude of others. I'm working on that so that I can continue to be my grateful, authentic self without judging those who do not share their gratitude as I do. Asking or expecting others to express gratitude for you depletes the feeling behind it. This is something that I discovered and I have been doing. Gratitude for me is more than just a practice. It's a core value. Today, I honor that value and consciously choose to share my energy with people who live in alignment with appreciation, mutual respect, and kindness. Those who don't, I release them with love from the center of my life. The decision to shift your relationship dynamics is difficult, but it is one step of the path to authenticity. The science of gratitude. There are so many positive benefits to living in a state of gratitude that are backed by studies from well-respected, peer-reviewed journals. The science of gratitude is clear. Gratitude improves well-being. It fosters positive emotions and greater joy in life. Gratitude promotes resilience. It helps us cope with stress and adversity. Gratitude enhances spirituality. It deepens connections and our sense of purpose. Gratitude encourages a growth mindset. It cultivates appreciation and positive personal development. Gratitude is definitely a powerful motivator for me, and I reciprocate by telling everyone around me thank you or I appreciate what you have done as often as possible. I walk the talk, and it is sincere. I believe that my staff and my close friends might even say that I go overboard in expressing how thankful I am for them. I am known to thank total strangers for their kindness, and I always thank, and generously tip when appropriate, service providers, wait staff, retail salespeople, etc. I take every opportunity to sincerely thank my colleagues, friends, and family for who they are and what they do, privately and in public. I express gratitude to those I love and to strangers. Gratitude in practice. How do I start living in gratitude? Social media posts for 30 days. Gratitude challenge. I believe that the easiest way to shift your mindset to live in gratitude is to keep a public gratitude journal on your favorite social media channel. Can you commit to posting one unique declaration of gratitude each day for at least 30 days? No repeats. In writing, in videos, or a combination of both? Post either one short video story or one sentence a day with, "Today I am grateful for," or "Today I was most grateful for," or "My greatest blessing today was." P.S. This makes great content. A gratitude journal for 60 to 90 days. Gratitude challenge. Another great option is to purchase a gratitude journal with prompts. See the links and QR codes at the end of the book. Commit to a specific amount of days. We recommend shooting for 2 to 3 months, and try to find an accountability partner with whom you can share your successes and setbacks. Say thank you to others every single day. Sharing your gratitude with others is extremely important, in my opinion. A simple yet specific "thank you for" in person, or text, or voice message, or old school thank you note to your family, friends, colleagues, and even those in the public sector can go a long way. Be specific whenever possible. Gratitude is contagious and it multiplies. So don't be afraid to ask others to hold you accountable, and don't be shy about expressing yourself when you feel grateful for even the smallest gesture. Did you know how long it takes to form a habit or shift a mindset? On average, it takes about 66 days to form a new habit, according to a study published in the European Journal of Social Psychology by Dr. Philippa Lally and colleagues. We asked ChatGPT to give us an additional 10 ways that you can easily begin living in conscious gratitude, and it gave us a great list. Which of these are your favorite? Which do you think is the most sustainable? Will you choose one of my ideas, or do you prefer an AI option? We would love to make this interactive, so tag us at puente.ci in a post on Instagram and let us know which will be your preferred way to build this life-changing habit. 10 practical ways to build a habit of living in gratitude. 1. Start and end the day with one gratitude thought. Before you check your phone or start your to-do list, pause and think of one thing you're thankful for. End your day the same way. 2. Keep a visible gratitude jar or board. Write a short note every time something good happens and drop it in a jar or pin it to a board. Review them weekly or monthly for a boost. 3. Use habit stacking. Link gratitude to an existing habit. For example, after brushing your teeth, say one thing you're grateful for. This is stacking. This method helps lock it in. 4. Set gratitude reminders. Schedule a daily phone alert to pause and reflect, or write a sticky note that lives on your mirror or workspace. 5. Say it out loud to others. Make a habit of expressing gratitude in conversations. It reinforces your own mindset and lifts others up. 6. Reframe the hard moments. When something goes wrong, ask yourself, what can I learn from this? Is there anything I can be thankful for? 7. Create a gratitude playlist or visual journal. Save songs, quotes, or images that inspire feelings of thankfulness. Revisiting it can quickly reset your mindset. 8. Take gratitude walks. While walking, actively notice and name things you're grateful for. Sunlight, trees, movement, fresh air, etc. 9. Practice mindful meals. Take one meal a day to pause and give thanks for the nourishment, the hands that prepared it, and the time to eat. 10. Join a gratitude group or seek an accountability partner. Share one thing you're grateful for with a friend or group each day. Text, email, social post. Shared habits stick better. It does not matter how you decide to shift your mindset to living in gratitude. The only thing that matters is that you make it a daily habit for as long as it takes to change your heart and soul. Please find us on social media, see the links in the back of the book, and report back what positive changes you see in yourself after just 30 to 90 days of gratitude. Part 2. Authenticity. Chapter 3, The Path to Authenticity. Living authentically takes courage, and it is not the easiest road to travel. It means making choices that others may not understand. It means walking away from what doesn't fit. It means standing firm in your truth and who you are, even when it might mean standing alone. It means living unapologetically as your true self. Are you willing to go through this journey with me? You will need a compass to guide you. My defined path to living authentically is aligning your mission and vision with your core values. Your mission is who you are today and what you do. Your vision is where you're headed, the life you want to create. Your values are the principles by which you live your life. We have created a step-by-step process to give you the foundation for truly understanding who you are and to help you paint your life as you design a future that will bring you exactly what you seek. The first step is to identify your core values. Then we will provide templates for you to write your own mission and vision statements to ensure that they align with your values. As a business coach, I always tell my clients, you need a mission and vision statement for your business to help you decide what to say yes to or no to, and to know where you are going. What I've learned is that we need a mission and vision for our lives too. When you're clear on your mission, vision, and you have identified your values, the decision-making process becomes clearer. Ask yourself, does this activity, person, or commitment align with my values and who I am? Does this bring me closer to the life that I want? If the answer is no, it becomes very obvious what or who needs to be removed from your life. Choosing what aligns with your authentic self becomes easier when you have created a written blueprint of who you are and where you want to go. If the answer is yes, you will feel driven to move forward with it. Here's the hard part. When you choose to live authentically, armed with a clear mission, vision, and core values, it can sometimes mean letting go of relationships, commitments, or roles that no longer serve you. It means being willing to walk away from things that don't align with your truth, choosing instead to follow the path toward the future you now envision. Walk the talk. I have always had a written mission statement for my businesses. I teach the process in my Bridge Model Entrepreneurship series. In 2023, my international team took on the task of revisiting our mission and vision statements, and I took a look at my own values. As I went through the process, I knew that I wanted each member of my team to literally sign off that they were willing to represent our company in alignment with our mission, vision, and values. As I went through the process, I knew something was off in my life, and I had no idea what snowball effect it would have. 2 years later, I'm separated from my husband, and my partners from my Mexican company left the business. Let me share what happened. Coming out of the pandemic, I was really struggling with my health. I had been working 50, 60 hours a week online. I did not have any kind of exercise or food plan. My blood pressure was not controlled, and I was exhausted. I have an autoimmune disorder, and that is really affected by stress and Michigan winters. So I started to spend more and more time at the beach. I rented an apartment and was living part-time in Mexico. I had launched a marketing company with a digital platform to promote the businesses in town with a team, but nothing was going as we'd hoped. Although we have a wonderful relationship with the business owners, we weren't making any money and we weren't happy. At the same time, my relationship with my husband changed drastically. My husband had traveled our entire marriage. He was gone anywhere from 30 to 60% of the time. I was used to living life without him. I enjoyed his company tremendously, but I was okay when he was gone. I didn't have a choice. So when I started to travel back and forth to Mexico, it just felt like it was finally my turn. My boys were grown, my business gave me the freedom to work virtually, and my husband was still traveling for his own job. I was the one who took care of the house, our boys, bills, laundry, meals. When he traveled for over 20 years, I was really happy, but my husband was not. In October of 2023, I had a one-on-one meeting with each member of my team, including my husband, to discuss my drafts of our mission, vision, and value statements. I had included him in the process because our vision included him joining in future projects so that he too could have the flexibility to join me more often in Mexico during the winter months. We discussed the mission and vision statements, and I shared my notes and reflections on my value statements. The goal was to ensure that everyone was on the same page. I told my team that I hoped that they were willing to align their actions with my values and that they would help me to write our value statement as a company. As I spoke from the heart with my husband, explicitly stating my goal and my values, I had a wave of realization that my words rang empty. As I shared that I wanted to publish my core values of authenticity, integrity, transparency, honesty, and communication, I just knew that something was going to blow up in my face. I knew that although my business represented those values, my personal life was not 100% authentic or even honest. I knew there were secrets that needed to be revealed. We were separated just a few months later. It took me over 6 months to admit it to my family. It's been a long process. I still do not know what the future holds. We're getting ready to sell our family home and divide assets. I do know that I am firm in my resolve to live honestly with integrity and transparency. I know that I will accept nothing less in my partner and my team. I know that I will continue to strive for the highest level of communication possible. I pledge to be authentic. I do not know how to be anything other than me. Chapter 4, Inner Compass, Identifying Your Core Values. Every journey begins within. Before you can declare your mission or imagine your vision, you must first know what guides you at the deepest level. That is the work of discovering your core values. Values are the quiet truths that shape your decisions and fuel your joy. They are not given to you by a job description, a role, or even society's expectations. They are principles that, when honored, make you feel whole. Think of your values as your inner compass. They don't just point you in a direction, they keep you aligned no matter how chaotic the path becomes. When you're grounded in your values, the storms of life may shake you, but they won't break you. Why identifying your core values is important. So often we live on autopilot, guided by the shoulds around us. We say yes when we mean no. We follow other people's expectations. We chase success defined by others. We lose ourselves in the noise. But when you identify your values, everything shifts. Decisions become clearer. Boundaries grow stronger. Priorities line up with what truly matters to you, not what the world expects. Living by your values doesn't mean life is suddenly easy, but it does mean life becomes deeply authentic. There is harmony in knowing that you are no longer betraying yourself for the sake of approval. How values show up. Your values are revealed in the moments when you feel most alive. That rush of pride when you stand up for what you believe in. That deep peace when you spend time in nature or with loved ones. The quiet satisfaction of finishing something you poured your heart into. The relief when you were brave enough to say no to something you were expected to do. They are also revealed in the moments when something feels off, when you feel resentment, restlessness, or disconnection. Those feelings are signals you are living outside your values. Once you have identified your core values, you will automatically prioritize actions and people that connect. It is important to note that while you should revisit and edit your mission and vision statements every few years, your core values will not evolve much throughout your life unless there's a major life change or a shift in consciousness. Some experiences that may cause your values to evolve include the birth of a child or grandchild, children leaving home, empty nest syndrome, a significant loss such as the death of a parent, child, partner, or friend, the end of a marriage or major relationship, a serious illness, accident, or health crisis, a major career transition, business loss, or retirement, spiritual awakening or existential crisis, a shift in identity, such as coming out, deconstructing faith, or redefining gender roles, trauma and recovery, emotional, physical, or psychological, a global community event, a pandemic, a war, social justice movement. Maybe that shifts your worldview. These moments often serve as a mirror or turning point, inviting you to re-examine what truly matters. In these seasons, you may find that a value you once held lightly becomes central, or that something you once prioritized no longer fits the person you are becoming. Jot it down. Without taking a lot of time to overanalyze the following list, identify 10 to 20 words that most resonate with you and write them down. Circle them below or say them out loud. Core values inspiration chart. Personal growth and spirit. Authenticity. Balance. Courage. Creativity. Curiosity. Faith or spirituality, freedom, growth, harmony, wisdom, relationships and community, compassion, connection, empathy, family, friendship, generosity, kindness, love, respect, trust, work and achievement, accountability, achievement, adventure, excellence, innovation, integrity, leadership, learning, perseverance, responsibility, well-being and lifestyle, beauty, fun, gratitude, health, joy, justice, nature, peace, security, simplicity, finding your inner compass. Your values are waiting to be discovered. Take a few quiet moments with these questions and allow yourself to answer honestly without judgment. Peak moments. Think back to a time when you felt deeply proud of yourself or truly alive. What was happening? Which values were you honoring in that moment? Learn from frustration. Now recall a time that you felt frustrated, disrespected, or out of alignment. What was missing? Which values were being ignored or compromised? Legacy question. Imagine someone you love describing you at your best. What would you hope they say? Which values shine through in their words? Top 5 truths. From your reflections, write down the 5 values that feel the most essential to who you are. These are your guiding lights. Once you have identified the values that jump out at you, take the time to compare and think of scenarios where you might have to sacrifice one value for another. A way that you can do this exercise is to write each word on a note card and then determine which value is more important to you. Keep doing this again and again until you've clearly defined your top 5 to 10 values. For example, friendship and family have always been important to me. But when I truly thought about what I value the most at this point in my life, I found that living authentically, continual growth, integrity, honesty, and communication all take priority. This does not mean that I do not value my relationships, only that I am not willing to sacrifice who I am and who I am becoming for those relationships. Harmony aligned reminder. When you live by your values, you live in harmony with yourself. They are not just words, they are your compass, pointing you toward the authentic life you choose to live. Your values are not just words you admire, they are the sacred truths you choose to live by. When you claim them, you stop drifting and start living on purpose. Before you can define your mission or imagine your vision, you must know what you stand for. Everything else, your goals, your dreams, your relationships, will flow from there. A personal reflection. If you have the opportunity to begin new relationships, maybe a new strategic partnership in business, or maybe you're beginning to date after a divorce, truly leading with your core values and asking direct questions could prevent chaos in the future. My husband and I are struggling because the only value we still have in common is pleasure. This shocked us both. I imagine that we were more aligned when we were younger, but today our core values are in direct conflict. I'm struggling to respect his value of independence and privacy, which are polar opposite to my deep need for communication and transparency. For that reason, I am not oversharing about our marital challenges. We still love each other, but it no longer seems that we are compatible. As an entrepreneurial coach, I have also seen business partnerships dissolve because of incongruent values. If one partner values relationships and the other wealth, or if one partner values integrity and the other is unethical in their dealings with clients, the business will fall apart. P.S. A reminder that if you want to dig into this deeper, we have a companion workbook and free video course called Paint Your Life. It's available on lazosglobal.com. In the workbook, we share a free online tool that will help you clearly identify your values and even compare them to your partner. Look for links and QR codes at the end of the book. Chapter 5, Your theme song, why you do the things you do. Write your personal mission statement. Aligning your mission, vision, and values is the key to living authentically. Writing your mission in black and white is a powerful exercise in learning who you truly are. A personal mission statement is not just a sentence, it is the action that embodies your values. It tells you who you are, why you do what you do, and what values guide your actions today. When life gets noisy, your mission statement becomes your anchor. When opportunities arise, it becomes your filter. When doubt creeps in, it reminds you who you are and what you stand for, why it matters. A personal mission statement is more than just a tool for business leaders or organizations. It is for every one of us. It answers the question, what is the purpose behind the way I choose to live? In our workshops, I always say, your mission, vision, and values need to be your compass for making every decision. Having it in writing, you limit the risk of bending to other people's expectations. You will have the tools to live a life that feels aligned, harmonious, and unapologetically your own. The questions that unlock your mission. In the course I teach called Paint Your Life, I guide participants through a series of reflective questions. They may feel simple at first, but taken together, they reveal your deepest why. Ask yourself, 1. Why did I start this journey? Or why do I want to? 2. What are my natural talents and strengths? 3. What impact do I want to have on the world around me? 4. Who do I want to serve with my gifts, my business, or my energy? 5. What problem do I want to solve, or what need do I feel called to meet in my community? 6. How do I want people to feel when they interact with me? 7. What do I want others to say about me when I'm not in the room? 8. How do I define success beyond money? These questions are the brush strokes. Your mission and vision statements are the painting. Templates that help you shape it. Here are 3 simple templates to get you started. Don't overthink them. Write freely, then refine until the words feel true. Template 1. My mission is to name an action. 4. Pick an audience. By describe how you do it with values. For example, my mission is to live with intention for myself and those I love by honoring my emotions, setting healthy boundaries, and showing up with grace and honesty. Template 2. I am committed to name an impact or change in the world you want to create. Because I believe, name a core belief. Example, I am committed to healing generational patterns and choosing peace over perfection because I believe that wholeness begins with self-awareness and self-compassion. Template 3. I exist to fill in a purpose so that pick a bigger impact or legacy. For example, I exist to walk in truth and vulnerability so that I can build a life that feels like home, rooted, free, and aligned. These are starting points, not cages. The goal is not a perfect sentence, but a powerful statement that feels aligned and in your own voice when you say it out loud. If you're struggling to find the right words and have been using AI tools such as ChatGPT or Google Gemini for anything personal, it may already know you. Ask it to give you some guiding questions to write your personal mission statement. Share the core values that you've identified and insist that it define who you are and what you aligned with your values. See what version it produces for you, and then edit from there. Your mission in action. When I coach entrepreneurs and leaders, I remind them, your mission should not live in a notebook that collects dust. It should guide the way you set goals, choose projects, and even rest. For me, living authentically means my mission statement is not just a business tool, it's a mirror. Every day I ask myself, Am I moving in harmony with the mission I profess to follow? Writing your mission statement is not about impressing anyone. It is about claiming your truth. It is about giving yourself permission to align your daily actions with your deepest values. Let this be your declaration of authenticity, your promise to yourself. And remember, your mission is not fixed forever. It can and should evolve as you grow. Revisit your statements every 6 to 12 months. You'll be surprised when your vision of yesterday becomes the mission for today. Chapter 6: Paint Your Life, Envisioning Your Future. Your personal vision statement. Your values are your compass, your mission is your why, and your vision is the map that shows where you are headed. It is the picture of the life that you are creating, the canvas you are painting stroke by stroke. Your vision statement is not about where you are today, it's about where you are going, the future you can see when you close your eyes. It is the declaration of who you are becoming and what kind of world you want to live in. Why envisioning your future is important. I often say if you cannot envision it and describe it in detail, you cannot reach your goals. Without a clear vision for where you are headed, we live reactively, responding to whatever comes our way. With a written vision statement, we become creators of our own future. You can call it manifestation or setting goals. When we have a clear path, we will move toward the life we desire. When I say paint your life, this is what I mean. You get to choose the colors, the style, the story. Paint every detail in words and images in your mind. No one else holds the brush but you. The questions that unlock your vision. When I guide entrepreneurs and leaders through this exercise, I ask them to close their eyes and truly picture themselves in 20 years, 10 years, 5 years, 1 year. Pick a date and an age. What year is it? I am so many years old. Where am I living? Describe that location in detail. What does the best version of my life look like? How do I want to feel when I wake up in the morning? Who is standing with me? Family, community, clients, collaborators? What impact is my work or energy leaving on the people around me? What symbols, images, or words capture the life I want to live? How do I want to spend my days, my weeks, my months? What do I want to accomplish each year? Write everything down without filtering, the sights, sounds, emotions, even smells. This is your first sketch of your vision. Skim through the following optional exercises provided by ChatGPT. You can choose one or all of them to explore, and you can complete the exercises before or after drafting your vision statement. Come back in 6 months to revisit your first draft and make edits with a new consciousness using a different color. See if you haven't converted your prior vision statement into your current mission. Paint your life practices, crafting your personal vision. From vision to action, making it smart. A vision without action is just a wish. The beauty of painting your life is that you don't just dream in colors. You bring those colors onto the canvas through daily brushstrokes. That's where SMART goals come in. SMART goals are like the details in your painting and break it into clear, doable steps. S is for specific. Instead of saying, I want to have fun, get clear. I will block 1 evening a week for rest and creative play. M is for measurable. Instead of, I want more clients, say, I will book 5 new clients this quarter. A is for achievable. Dream big, yes! But make sure the step feels within reach. Start with what you can do now, not just someday. R is for relevant. Align your goals with your vision. If your vision is about harmony, ask, does this goal bring me closer to harmony? Does it align with my mission and values? T is for time-bound. Give your goals a timeline. A dream with a deadline has power. Example in practice. Let's say your vision is, I see myself as a fulfilled woman who invests in her passions, creates memories with my children, and builds a career that supports my well-being. A SMART goal might be, by June, I will enroll in one weekend retreat focused on empowerment and rest, and block those dates on my calendar this month. Or, within the next 90 days, I will delegate 2 household responsibilities, like laundry or grocery shopping, so that I can reclaim 5 hours a week for reading, journaling, or starting my creative project. Or even, by the end of this year, I will set aside $200 a month to fund my dream of returning to school for a certification that excites me and aligns with my long-term vision. See how the vision stays expansive while the SMART goal gives it legs? Paint your life practice. Smart it out. 1. Draft your personal vision statement. 2. Circle one part of that vision that excites you most right now. 3. Turn it into a SMART goal for the next 90 days. And 4. Break that SMART goal into 3 simple action steps you can take this month. The one-word anchor. Choose one word that captures the essence of the life you want to live. Examples are harmony, freedom, abundance, creativity, love, aligned. Why does this word matter to you? How do you want this word to shape your choices? Write a short paragraph beginning with, "My life is painted with," and let your thoughts flow. Vision board. Use a combination of images and words to create a vision board. Images. Create a collage of your biggest dreams. Be specific. Words. Draw a blank page and divide it into 4 quadrants. Self. How you care for your body, mind, and spirit. Relationships. Family, friends, community, clients. Work and impact. The mark you want to leave on the world. Joy. What brings you laughter, beauty, and play? Combination of both images and words. Fill each section with words, doodles, or phrases that represent your desired future. Vision statement draft. Try writing 2 or 3 versions of your vision statement using the templates I provided. Don't aim for perfect, aim for true. After you've written them, read each one out loud. Notice which version makes your heart beat faster or brings a smile to your face. That's the one to keep. Templates to shape your vision. To help structure this, here are 3 simple vision templates. They are meant to spark imagination, not limit it. Template 1. My vision is to name an impact. By, pick a main action. For, choose an audience or community. Guided by, name a value. Example. My vision is to fully experience life by exploring new places, cultures, and parts of myself, guided by freedom, curiosity, and authenticity. Template 2. I imagine a life or world where, choose a desired change, and I am part of it by, name your role. Example. I imagine a life where wealth flows with purpose, health is protected like sacred ground, and joy is a daily ritual. I am part of that life by choosing alignment in every decision I make. Template 3. I see myself recognized as, choose a future identity or role, who, choose a main benefit, for, pick an audience or community. Example. I see myself recognized as someone who leads with intention and heart, creating calm, clarity, and inspiration for those around me. When you write yours, don't worry about sounding grand. A vision can be as expansive as transforming an industry, or as intimate as raising a family with joy and abundance. Both are valid. Both are powerful. Start moving toward your future today. List 3 small steps that you can take in the next 30 days that will move you closer to your vision. They don't have to be dramatic. Sometimes the boldest thing we can do is to take one small brushstroke every day. Reminder, your personal vision is not a contract. It is a living painting. You can add color, adjust the lines, or even start again. What matters most is that you are painting your life, not anyone else's. Your vision in action. A vision statement is not meant to be tucked away, but it also does not need to be published. It is the picture you return to when life feels messy, when doubt whispers too loudly. It is the gentle reminder, this is where I'm going. Does it take two to tango? Similar to the core values assessment and comparison, the exercise to paint your life can and should be done with your partner. As you look toward the future, especially 10 to 20 years from now, it's extremely important that you and your partner have a similar or at least parallel path. I have always had this skill to clearly see my future path. Everything I have ever accomplished is because I first dreamed it and then I planned it out. I told my husband my dream to live at the beach and to run a bed and breakfast in 1999. I saw it in my mind's eye. We always discussed it in terms of a someday or maybe when we retire. But the fact is, my husband likes to visit the beach, but he prefers cold climates. And I have to live where it is hot and humid. So I do not know if our paths will ever intersect again. In 2019, I told my staff that they would need to get used to running things while I traveled and connected via video call. Just months before the pandemic hit and Zoom was a household word, I told them that within 5 years I would be working from the beach. When we came to the Maya Riviera in December of 2020 on vacation, I knew that I had to move here right then. Now it's 2025 and I'm spending my second full winter living in my brand new condo, and I have started a property management company. Not exactly a bed and breakfast, but there's still time for that. Live the life you imagined. Your vision statement is your brushstroke of possibility. It is how you begin to paint your life with intention, authenticity, and harmony. When opportunities come your way, ask, does this take me closer to the vision I've painted for my life? If the answer is yes, step forward with confidence. If the answer is no, release it, knowing you are saying yes to yourself instead. Do not be afraid to dream boldly. Do not be afraid to revise your canvas as you grow. You are not locked into one picture forever. Paint your life with hope. Paint it with courage. Paint it with the colors of your own truth. Part 3. Prioritize yourself. Chapter 7. Take center stage and sing the melody. One of the hardest discoveries that I made in developing the principles of harmony aligned and living authentically was that I had to learn to prioritize myself. This went against everything that society had taught me, /us. As many women do, I spent the entirety of my adult life prioritizing others, my job, my husband and his career, my family and their needs, my students, my friends, my children. Even my children's sports teams were a priority over my own needs, wants, desires, and even my own health and wellness. As I inched towards my 50th birthday, my children were just out of high school, and it finally came time for me to take myself into consideration. How sad is that? I neglected my own health, wellness, needs, and desires for more than a quarter of a century, and I slowly realized that no one was ever going to make me their priority. If I continued down this path, I would turn into a bitter, bitchy, miserable, and probably sick old lady. The journey I have been on for the last 3 years has been amazing, exciting, and excruciatingly painful, physically and emotionally. I truly hope that others can learn from my mistakes and take their own journey with the insight of harmony aligned. In these last pages, I'll be providing small practical ways that you can begin to prioritize yourself so that you can truly live an authentic and abundant life. I will be sharing some really difficult truths about what I learned and experienced when I began this process. This topic was a lot harder to start than one would think. I knew that I did not want to write a bunch of self-care tips that we've all heard a million times. I want this chapter to be contemplative, restorative, maybe even life-changing. I want you to find a quiet place to read this. Have a journal or notepad next to you. I want you to be honest in your best mindset and in your best place for reflection. To prepare for reading this chapter, I want you to start with setting the scene for how you can begin to prioritize yourself. Feel good. What are you wearing? Are you comfortable? Are you too cold or too warm? Get comfy and cozy. Change your clothes if needed, and if you're able. What would make this experience better for you? Surround yourself with things that bring you joy. Do you want to have soft music in the background or silence? Do you want to light a candle? Do you need a little snack? Make some popcorn. Eat a piece of dark chocolate. Next, pour yourself your favorite beverage, a cup of hot coffee or tea, a glass of wine or your favorite craft beer, a tall glass of ice water with lemon, or a Diet Coke. Your favorite cocktail or mocktail. You choose, whatever you want, and do not settle. Put the book down and go prepare something just for you, just the way you like it. Yes, right now. Go take this first step. Now, where will you read this? Go sit outside in the quiet of nature? Crawl into bed and pull up the covers? Curl up on your couch with your favorite blanket? You decide. My goal is that what you learn here will be shared with everyone around you. Please share this with your partner. Help them to see from day one that you and your whole family will benefit from you being your full, authentic, amazing self. Share this with your friends, your sisters, your coworkers, and most of all, the young people in your life. My deepest regret is that I did not learn this in my 20s or 30s. I believe that had I started my career, my marriage, and motherhood with the principles of harmony aligned, that I could have had both a fulfilling and successful career and a happy, lasting marriage. I believe that my sons would have benefited far more from an authentic mom than from a mother who sacrificed herself and had nothing left for herself at the end of a very long and exhausting day. I promise that in the long run, you will be happier than you ever imagined once you can unapologetically live the life that you were meant to live. Get off the proverbial teeter-totter trying to find the non-existent work-life balance. The journey of living authentically, although incredibly worthwhile, is not without challenges. The world around you would much rather you conform to the sacrificing martyr. Prioritizing yourself is not equal to self-care. I have to admit that I have always rolled my eyes a little at the mention of needing self-care. Don't get me wrong, I'm all for a pedicure, spa day, or a girls' night out, but what I'm talking about here is more profound and impactful. I believe that to truly find harmony in your life, the last and maybe most important step is to prioritize yourself unapologetically. But what does that mean? And how do you do it without appearing selfish? Here's the formula that I am currently following, and so far, although it has been hard, I am seeing true results. Be honest with yourself and others about what you need, want, and desire. Number 1, listen. Listen to your intuition. Listen to your body cycles and what you need. Nourish your body. Move your body. Rest your body. Listen to what you need, want, and desire. 2, move. Take action based on your intuition. Move your body every day as often as you can. Travel as much and as often as possible. Go to new cities, states, and countries. 3, rest. Rest your mind. Quiet both the internal and external noise. Rest your soul. You are only responsible for your own thoughts and actions. Rest your body. Sleep 7 to 9 hours every single day. No other single change will affect your entire life more than getting enough sleep. We talk a lot about self-care, and I'll be honest, it's not my favorite topic. I'm not great at it, and that's not what I'm talking about here. Prioritizing yourself is about taking time every single day to think about, verbalize, and prioritize your needs and feelings. Prioritizing yourself is about scheduling meticulously time for whatever you need to do to take care of yourself. Prioritizing yourself is about having difficult conversations with yourself and your partner or your family about money and aging. Prioritizing yourself is about taking care of yourself even better than you can take care of those around you. Prioritizing yourself is about having enough money in the bank to be able to meet your basic needs and spoil yourself when you want to without guilt or stress. Prioritizing yourself is about living in alignment with your mission, vision, and values, and scheduling time every 3 to 5 years to revisit your goals to see where adjustments can be made. What I'm talking about is the radical act of not sacrificing yourself for everyone around you. It sounds so obvious. Of course, we shouldn't sacrifice ourselves. It is logical that authentic, happy people will be better caregivers and employees. Yet as women, we are conditioned to put everyone else first. We put our kids first, our spouses, our jobs, our homes, our responsibilities. We make sure everyone else is okay before we even think about ourselves. But here's the thing. No one else is going to prioritize you. That's your job. So let's treat it like the most important job we have. And if you don't do it, if you keep putting yourself last, you burn out. You lose yourself. You may even feel like a failure at work and at home. You may wake up one day and realize you don't even know who you are anymore. In a world that often rewards hustle and self-sacrifice, one of the most powerful lessons that we can learn is how to prioritize ourselves. Not out of selfishness, but out of self-respect. A testimony of harmony aligned. My best friend Tracy, a wife, mother of 3, and a woman deeply in tune with the principles of harmony aligned, shared her personal journey with me. She grew up witnessing this firsthand through the example of her own mother, and now lives it fully herself. With her permission, I'm honored to include her words here. She says, I am a 53-year-old wife and mom of 3 young adults. I'm also the oldest of 3 children. My dad was a skilled trade factory worker, and my mom worked a flexible schedule and volunteered. I had a wonderful childhood. We lived in a quiet neighborhood in the country, surrounded by parks and farmland. My dad even worked 7 days a week, but he always made time for his hobbies. He loved the Tigers and the Red Wings. If a game wasn't on the TV, it was playing on the radio. He could fix or make anything. My mom would dream and sketch it, and he would bring her vision to life. Bird houses, wind chimes, fairy houses, doll furniture, even our kitchen table. My mom has always been a busybody. She doesn't require much sleep. She sewed many of our clothes growing up, read to us most nights, and cooked and baked delicious meals. After hot days in the garden or the yard, we'd cool off in the pool. Looking back now, I realize both of my parents modeled what it means to have hobbies, what we now often call self-care. They did things that brought them joy and restored them. I remember how my mom would brew a cup of tea and read in the afternoon, or work on sewing projects in the evening. She cared deeply for all of us, but also made time for herself. She was an amazing example of balance. As a mom, I now understand how meaningful it is to witness her stepping away from endless tasks to enjoy her tea. She always seemed content and happy. And I've tried to do the same as I raised my own kids. I love practicing yoga. I got certified when my youngest was 3, and teaching became my sacred time. I taught 3 classes a week and loved it. Even on vacations, I'd visit a local studio. It always helped set the tone for my trip. As my kids got older, I invited them to join me. I also love walking and hiking, especially with a friend. I read, cook, and bake, all the things that bring me peace and restoration. I was shown how to find the little joys by my parents, and I hope I've done the same for my children. Can you put some of these examples into a practical list for yourself that you can put into practice today? Some of these are going to be easy baby steps. Others are going to be incredibly difficult, and you will get pushback from those around you. Some of these steps will require difficult conversations with your partner and maybe even your boss. Some may even require therapy. Boundaries, anyone? For sure, some of these will require years to accomplish. The goal here is to move slowly and achieve the ultimate goal of living authentically starting today. I live and breathe by my Google Calendar. I often say that if it isn't on my calendar, it doesn't exist. So I recommend either using a paper and pencil planner and use it religiously, or adopt a digital calendar that will give you pop-up reminders. Daily tasks. Listen to your intuition. Find 30 minutes of silence every day to be quiet with your thoughts. I like to use my shower and commuting time in silence. Move your body. I love my stand-up reminders from my Apple Watch. I try to get up and get a glass of water or go to the bathroom or take a couple minutes to go outside at least 5 to 10 minutes every hour. When I'm working online for extended periods, I even set my timer for an hour to remind me to get up and move around. Rest. Get 7 to 9 hours of sleep every night. Turn off all devices an hour before bed. Every night, go to bed 15 to 30 minutes earlier until you hit your goal. Weekly tasks. Prioritize joy. Spend time without a screen. Schedule it if you do not have time to do this regularly. This is a great time to journal, read, or express gratitude. Spend one-on-one time with at least one person you love. Schedule at least an hour a week to do something that fills your cup and brings you joy, such as taking a long gratitude walk, reading a book, watching a movie or a rerun of your favorite show. Go shopping. Take a long drive. Exercise. Have a coffee or cocktail date with your partner, sister, or your BFF. What else fills you up and brings you joy? Monthly tasks. Schedule one evening, afternoon, day a month to do something extra just for you. A massage, pedicure, extra long shower, soaking in a bath. Read an entire book. Go on a hike. Even a doctor's appointment, while not joyful, is a radical piece of self-care. Google a list or ask ChatGPT to give you some suggestions that fall within your budget. Annual tasks. Prioritize your health and your wealth management. Schedule your annual physical and your biannual dental cleaning. Request hormone panels. Find a new physician if your doctor does not take time to listen to your questions. Schedule financial meetings with yourself and your partner if you're coupled. Schedule financial meetings with your financial advisor. If you do not have one, ask your friends and family to recommend someone they trust. Prioritizing yourself would mean something different for every person. It will depend on your age, if you have a partner, how close you are to your family, and if you have kids. While this isn't gender specific, I do think that men are better at finding time for themselves and finding time for their friends, such as golf, poker, bar nights, sports events. My experience is that young moms really struggle with how to find the time to prioritize themselves when there's so much to do and without the guilt overriding the benefit. I remember when just having time to go to the bathroom without two boys at my ankles or looking under the door was the epitome of alone time. One of the biggest challenges is that looming and constant to-do list that women, especially moms, have scrolling through their brain. This has always been difficult, but add it to the perfect Instagram or TikTok moms that so many millennials and Gen Z aspire to, it amplifies the self-imposed and societal pressures we put on ourselves. I want to give these 4 simple pieces of advice. Number 1, accept that the to-do list will literally never be done. Complete what you can each day. Prioritize your own health, wealth, and joy and that of your family. Know that sleep is the best remedy for frustration. You will be more productive tomorrow if you get a good night's sleep tonight. The dishes, laundry, meal prep, etc. will still be there in the morning. Give yourself grace. 2, schedule intentional alone time for yourself every day, even if it's just a few minutes. This may mean getting up 15 minutes earlier than your family so you can have a quiet cup of coffee, write in your gratitude journal, or exercise. This could mean a 30-minute skincare routine before bed. This could mean an hour at the gym while the kids are in daycare. This could mean a long hot shower the minute your partner gets home from work, or as soon as the kids go to bed. My recommendation is that you also try to find at least 30 minutes a day to be in silence and listen to your own thoughts. I love to shower and drive in complete silence and just listen to my own thoughts. This is a great way to process challenges and to dream, manifest, and plan. You decide what it means to you, but it is also important to prioritize that alone time every single day. 3, ask for help. This isn't just for moms. Even if you are single with no children, you still need help. Start a dinner club where once a month everyone brings or cooks a new recipe and trades. Or, if you're a pet parent, trade weekends away. When I asked my veteran moms what was the hardest thing about taking care of their kids, so many said the isolation, the feeling that everything depended on them. I was blessed because my parents were actively involved in my life and we lived so close. So they insisted on helping and taking care of my boys so that I could get a break. If you do not have family close by, create a tribe. Find other moms who are willing to trade off date nights or monthly appointments. Number 4, be authentically you, whatever that means for you. For some, that means going natural. No nails, simple makeup, going gray naturally. For others, it means the opposite. Purple hair, nose rings, tattoos, and finding their own style. And for some, it may mean leaning into the traditional feminine, prioritizing getting your hair and nails done regularly, even maybe getting a mommy makeover. For some, it may mean loving being a stay-at-home mom. For others, it may be moving up the corporate ladder or starting a business. Bottom line is that being authentic is unique to you. Finding alignment with your mission, vision, and values is the key. I am just relearning how to do this now that my kids are grown. I was good at it when I was single and before I had my boys, but I neglected myself for decades. So I share this from personal experience. You need to put your own oxygen mask on first. Clichés exist for a reason, so remember, you cannot pour from an empty cup. When you have more, you can do more. You need to put your own oxygen mask on first. Chapter 8. What authenticity means to me. My definition of authenticity is living in alignment with my mission, vision, and values. One of my core values is growth, so I honor the fact that I am constantly evolving and changing. So what it means to be Bridget today will for sure be completely different than where I will be in 5 to 10 years, and the Bridget I am today looks and acts very differently than the woman I was 5 years ago. Not everyone has the same values, so it is very important to honor yourself where you are and where your vision will take you. Living authentically and unapologetically means embracing all such factors. I questioned whether or not someone who professes to be authentic and was writing a book on it should dye their hair. I actually worried that people would think that I was a hypocrite, so I went gray for a while, especially during the pandemic. Then I dyed my hair red, then blonde, then purple. I can never seem to find the time to keep it up, and it is not that important to me, so when the gray comes through, oh well. It is currently 4 different shades of reddish, purpley blonde with gray poking out. All of it is still authentically me. I also got my first tattoo on my 50th birthday. It's a big one on my right thigh, my least favorite body part. I've always hated my thighs. I was a tap dancer, so I am thick. My legs now have cellulite and spider veins, and they are huge. Before moving to Mexico, I had not worn shorts in over 20 years. Something surprising happened when I got my second tattoo on my right thigh. It helped me to love this big canvas my body provided. I now love to show off my legs. My artwork makes me happy, and my tattoos are uniquely mine and make for great conversation. Now I have decided that I am going to get a new one each year to represent who I am. Bikini body. After getting pregnant, I have been yo-yoing between 135 and 220 pounds for almost 25 years. I have an autoimmune disorder, and I have always struggled with my weight. I sadly remember crying at least 3 times when we had family photos scheduled because I hated how I looked, and I had nothing to wear that fit. When my youngest was just 3 months old, I actually flat out refused to be in the photo, so we have a beautiful photo of my sons at age 2 and 3 months being held by their dad, and not one of me. That photo was a reminder of how I erased myself because I hated how I looked. In every beach family vacation, I either refused to get in the photo or I hid behind my kids. Fast forward to 2021, when I decided I needed to live near the beach. My autoimmune condition worsens in the winter, and I have found that salt water, sunshine, and humidity are more beneficial than any other treatments. In a matter of less than a year, I went from wearing size XXL swim shorts and a tankini to a conservative bikini, at basically the same weight and size. In the second year, I got caught in a video that was posted on social media dancing in my bikini on the beach. My instinct was to sit down or hide or ask the person to please not post it. Instead, I embraced it. I decided that dancing in my bikini was good for my skin, my health, and my soul. I inadvertently found out that it was also inspiring to all of the women around me. Recently, I made the very difficult and expensive decision to have elective reconstructive surgery. A breast lift and reduction, and a tummy tuck to remove painful scar tissue from 2 C-sections and years of skin issues. It has been a long recovery, but I now feel more authentically me than ever before with my purple hair, tattoos, and my bikini body. Generosity and intentionality. I consider myself to be a generous person, and I think that my friends, family, staff, and clients would agree. I frequently say that I have a nonprofit heart. I truly love taking care of others, inviting folks for dinner or drinks, having big parties with no guest list or limits. I give of my time, talents, and money to people and causes that speak to me. I have professions that require not just time and money, but personal sacrifice and investment. As a teacher, I spent hundreds, if not thousands of dollars a year on my students and my classroom. I bought stickers and bulletin board decorations, candy and snacks, music, and more. I fed them and I even clothed a few, as all teachers do. But more than my money, I poured my energy into them. I was passionate about truly teaching the Spanish language and Hispanic cultures. I gave hugs, advice, and discipline. I brought my best self to every single day for 22 years. I can truly and honestly say that there was not one single day of my entire life that I have not intentionally done the best that I could. I was never perfect. Far from it, but I always gave what I was able. This is also true of how I parented my boys. I was very intentional about everything. I contemplated meals and discipline and their health and their schedules. I read experts, talked to family and friends about their parenting styles, and had constant conversations with their father about being consistent and a united front. I was far from perfect. I yelled too much, and I was impatient, and I spent most of their childhood rushing them. Raising neurospicy Latino boys with a Mexican husband meant that I was the timekeeper. Every night I would calculate, okay, tomorrow T has soccer practice at 6 p.m. and D at 5:30 p.m. on 2 different fields. We need to pick up their friend J, and P will meet us on the field at 2. This means if I pick up D from the bus stop at 3 p.m. and T from cross-country practice at 3:30, we had approximately 1 hour and 20 minutes to get in homework and a meal. This happened at least 3 to 5 days a week for 15 years. Most moms will relate. I did my best, and I was almost always exhausted. I worked half days when they were toddlers and full-time from the time they were 6 and 8. Their dad traveled a lot. I would estimate 40 to 60% of weekdays. I rarely included my own wants or desires into the equation because there was never enough time to do what had to get done, much less taking time for self-care or frankly even time to contemplate what I needed for myself. I look back on those years now and I truly do not know if I could have done more or less. What would I do differently if I knew then what I know now? I do not know. That is the honest truth. I think that I was hard on myself and my expectations for my husband, my boys, and my students were probably too high. I think I would tell my younger self to be more aware of feeling disappointed and to watch how that disappointment turned into criticism. I think I would also give everyone around me more grace and I would try to be less impatient and rushed. Let them, let me. I read Mel Robbins' book, The Let Them Theory, this year. I have been following her for years now. She spoke at a women's conference I attended in 2016. I love how she simplifies complex topics. Her 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 has helped me just take action. I used to wait until something felt ready, and now I publish and share quickly. I make decisions and act on them. I have also learned to trust others with their own choices and decisions, even when I do not agree. I'm learning to let them, and I'm learning to let go. I still move with intention. I still hope for the best and have super high expectations for myself and others, but sometimes right now is better than perfection later. I am letting go of trying to control the situation. I let them be, and for the first time in my life, I am letting myself make the best choices for me. Chapter 9, The Final Note. Although I have gone through all the exercises myself, I still do not have all the answers. This book was so much harder to write and even harder to finish than I ever imagined. When I separated from my husband, I was paralyzed for months. I was worried that writing a book on authenticity when my life was turned upside down would be seen as ironic or hypocritical. I kept my pain a secret, except to a very small group of people. Now I realize that it was all part of the journey. My husband and I are still in therapy. The future is still unknown. As I write this, I am staring out at the jungle in the Yucatan Peninsula, and he is finishing renovations and packing up our family home of 14 years to sell. Ending an almost 30-year relationship is really hard. I love this quote. Marriage is hard. Divorce is hard. Pick your hard. I am picking my hard. I am living in gratitude as always. I just launched the next gratitude challenge on Facebook tonight as I was editing the book, and I intend to publish daily gratitude through at least Thanksgiving. So approximately 45 days, hoping that dozens of my followers and friends will join in. I have spent the last 3 years seeking harmony, and I finally feel that my mission and vision are aligned with my top 3 core values: authenticity, honesty, and growth. I'm working on consolidating my mission statements into one. I currently have 3, but I know who I am and I know what I do, personally and professionally. I spend a lot of time painting my life, with and without my maybe soon-to-be ex-husband. And then I sit with that vision to see what my intuition tells me. I see endings and new beginnings. I see a lot of travel and a lot of stages as I launch my professional speaking career. I am now living alone near the jungle, about 15 minutes from the beach in Mexico. I spent the summer recovering from surgery, and then I traveled alone in Europe for a whole month. It was both the best thing I have ever done and one of the hardest months of my life. I sat in silence a lot every single day for 30 days. I listened to my heart, body, and soul more than I ever had before. I went to bed when I was sleepy, woke up when I woke up, ate when I was hungry. For the first time in my life, I did not have to consider anyone else's ideas, opinions, schedules, wants, or desires. It was truly liberating. I am normally a hyper extrovert, but I decided to really honor my words and attention. I spent most days 100% alone without talking to anyone other than a barista or maybe a waiter. For the first time, I recognized how valuable my time and energy are. I disconnected. I went a total of 15 days where I only had Wi-Fi when I was out at a restaurant. I am grateful I had that time, and I recognize the privilege of taking a month off from work and life is not something most people can do. Although I have been doing really well with nourishing my body and getting up and moving around, I have fallen off my routine of regular exercise. This week, I will start again. My body and soul needed a break to reset after traveling, packing, and moving. I'm going to give myself some grace when I fall back into old habits, and then I'll just start again. Everything happens in cycles, especially for women, so we need to honor our times of rest as well as our time to move. At 53, I am learning to prioritize myself for the first time in my life, and it is truly one of the hardest things I have ever done. Throughout this book, I have provided a guide to help you find your own path to authenticity. Start today. Like Mel Robbins taught us, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go! If you waited to do the exercises until you finished the book, go back and complete the steps in any order. 1. Live in gratitude. Which challenge did you decide to do and for how many days? Did you tag us? Or did you find an accountability partner? 2. Live authentically, aligned with your mission, vision, and values. Have you identified your core values? Do you have a written mission statement? Did you take time to paint your life? 3. Prioritize yourself. Daily, weekly, monthly. Accept that life may always feel a little off-balanced, but if you follow this path, you will find harmony aligned. Gratitude. With a book that has an entire chapter dedicated to being grateful, writing this public thank you note of sorts is harder than you might think. First, I do not want to forget anyone, and second, it needs to be sincere and meaningful. Although this first edition of Harmony Aligned is self-published, I could not have done this by myself. My Puente team has been encouraging me to finish this since I wrote the blog in 2022 and presented the keynote in 2024. So I need to explicitly thank Suzanne Bell, Yasmin Payan, Sofia Nava, Celine Iglesias, Ashanti Ortiz, and Alejandra Arce for their consistent and amazing support every single day. These last 2 years have been difficult to say the least, but I know we will reap the rewards in the years to come. My team has read and reread and translated everything that I have written, and so I am so incredibly grateful for their talents every single day. I am humbled in gratitude for the incredible talents of our graphic designer and web developer, Vincent Yora, who has been bringing my vision to life for the last 4 years. He has created and or updated our branding for all of our Puente family of logos and built multiple websites. I am so grateful for his talent and patience through the process of this first book. He designed the book cover and formatted the entire book. I need to thank my 2 best friends, Tracy W., who has literally been my BFF since the womb, and Amy M., who I met in 2021 in Puerto Morelos. Both of these women have loved and supported me from near and far and have been my rock through my separation and in the writing of this book. Lastly, I would like to thank my teachers who fostered my love of writing from a young age. And most of all, it started with my dad, my mama, and my Grammy girl, who instilled a love for words and gave me the confidence to do anything that I dreamed of.